Hi guys, and welcome to the Family and Consumer Science Lab. We are currently standing in the green kitchen. Just a little bit about the kitchens. They are organized in a way to make it easier for you to cook. Alright, so let's just start right here. And every kitchen, no matter which one you're assigned to, is going to look completely identical. So if you're washing dishes, okay, what would be the easiest place? Like, where should you put the towels to wash? Well, it sure wouldn't be over there, so that it should just make sense to you, okay? Now, this one needs to be cleaned out a little bit, but you see that there are labels here, washcloths and towels. You wash with a washcloth, okay, and you dry with a towel. When you put the soap onto here, you do not need a big giant, you just need like something about the size of a dime, okay? Even if you're putting some in your sink as well, just a little bit, okay? So you've got your washcloths and towels. Then you move up, you've got your colander. Your colander is used to drain liquids from foods, okay? So if you ever have spaghetti, I'm sure you've used one of these, but there's different sizes depending on what you need. And a lot of times we have these bigger bowls so that you could put it over there and it could drain in, all right? So there's our colander set. Now you'll notice how these are stacked so nice and neat. That's called nesting. And when you put things back, you need to nest it. You always need to put it back in the same spot where you found it. You can see that this says colander set. We then have our mixers and beaters, which I'm sure you're probably familiar with. Okay, they've got the green dot on them because we're in the green kitchen. And we've got mixing bowls at the top. Every kitchen looks exactly the same. So if I went over to the blue kitchen, it would be the same. Okay? Next we have our measuring cabinet. Okay, you can see on the bottom here, we've got our liquid measuring cups in different sizes. All right, we've got our dry measuring cups where we use to measure only dry ingredients. All right, we've got our measuring spoons. A lot of people like to think they need to put them back in the tool turnaround, but guess what? It's a measuring item, so it goes here. This is something different that a lot of kitchens don't, that a lot of like home kitchens wouldn't have, but it's really neat tool. It's called a measure all cup. And it's great for measuring things that kind of are sticky and hard to measure, so like peanut butter, or you know, if you had to measure butter like out of a tub, then you would put it in there and you stick it in there and then you just plop it and it pushes it out so that you wouldn't end up having to scrape the sides like you would with peanut butter or something. All right, so there's your measuring cabinet. So anything with measuring, you're going to put right back there, and look, again, it's nested. All right, then we move on to our metal mixing bowls. Obviously you would never put these in a microwave, but these are wonderful to, you know, prepare, you know, your pancake mix or whatever. Again, they're nested. Okay. You would use the size that you need. This is great. This is called the mix and pour bowl. This one you could heat up in the microwave if you needed to. It's great for pouring. Reheat things. It's got some measuring on the side. It goes all the way up to 8 cups, so it's nice. And then it's got the lid on top if you need to store. So store, reheat, anything there, mix up. So this is called the mix and pour bowl. And it goes right there. We've got the sifter. All right, we don't use this a ton, but this helps remove the lumps from items like confectionate sugar. And the grater. A little too short, I don't know if I can grab it, but it grates cheese and carrots and different items into smaller bits. All right, so that's kind of where everything goes. Right below that, you will find where you will keep your cutting boards. Okay, you never cut on a counter without a cutting board underneath of it. You'll find a supply tray. We get these out and use these every day. This is where you'll have your ingredients sitting. A lot of your equipment will be here if you got to go pick something up. So you always want to use this supply tray. Under here is where you would find your dish drainer. Okay, dish drainer. All right, these are great because they're collapsible. So if you wanted to make them smaller, all right, this is where you'll sit it out every period. As you're washing dishes, you'll sit it up upside down so that the water can drain out of it. All right, and you'll do that. And then at the end of the period, you'll dry this off and then put it away. Now, this particular sink, orange and green, both have garbage disposals. And something that's great about those is it's nice to have a garbage disposal. The rest of them don't. So when you're using this, you need to always think of like it being like a top hat or like snowman hat or something like that, that this goes at the top. If you put it like that, it's too hard to get out. So remember that. And then you would fill the sink with hot soapy water, a little dime size amount of soap, and you're ready to wash your dishes. You'll have your drainer sitting out and putting it upside down, and then somebody will come along and dry them and put away. If you're in the other kitchens that don't have purple, pink, yellow, and blue, do not have garbage disposals, so you'll want to make sure that you have this at the bottom to stop it, but also it's going to be a food catch so that you don't have to pick bits of food out of the bottom of the sink. Nobody likes to do that job, okay? We do keep flour and sugar in each kitchen because that's just a staple to have in every kitchen. And then this is the tool turnaround, okay? It's called the tool turnaround because it turns, all right? So I'm just going to go through some of the items here. These are called slotted spoons, all right, because it has a big slot in it. So like green bean juice you might not like on your plate. So you would pick it up, all right, and the juice would drain out, and it's called slotted because there's slots there. These are called turners. You might call them, oh, what do you guys probably call them? Spatulas. Yep, you could probably call them spatulas. But any textbook will tell you it's a turner. It's used to turn big items, eggs, hamburgers, things like that. All right, pancakes, and they turn. All right. These are called wooden spoons, and this is probably one of my favorite items. I use these a lot when I'm sauteing something, when I'm browning hamburger, because they're really good with heat. You can see, if you look close enough at this one, where anything that's made of plastic, even though it's cheaper, it is going to melt. Where a wooden spoon, it's not going to melt into your food. So it's nice for cooking, sauteing, moving things around in the hot skillet, and it will not burn. All right. Next we have a ladle. This moves like soups and salsas into a bowl, a large amount. You've got your rubber scrapers. They are great for scraping the edges of a bowl. If you're making like a cake or something like that, it'll scrape the edges. Some people even like to ice a cake a little bit with it, which is fine too. You've got your spaghetti catch. Again, it's got the slots like a slotted spoon, but it's got like the little claw, and it makes it very easy for you to catch your spaghetti. Some people, if you don't have one of these at your house, I know we don't, we just use the tongs for that because they're easy to grab. This is easy used for grabbing or picking up or turning items, so you could be using it on the grill, you could be using it in your salad, you could be doing, like I said, spaghetti, grabbing it up like that. Next we have our 3 sizes of cookie scoops. They make perfect portions of batter. So we'll use these for different things. If you buy like a pre-made tub of cookie dough, they're perfect for the size of the cookie. Sometimes we'll do just different items, biscuits, whatever, and sometimes you just need a large scoop to a small scoop, so that's real nice. A lot of people want to call these an ice cream scoop, and it really isn't that. They're a little bit too small for an ice cream scoop. This is a masher. Okay, like if you're making mashed potatoes or something, it would mash it. A whisk, all right. Mixes things up very quickly. This is called an egg separator. We know that a lot of people, some recipes actually even call for just an egg white. Or we know that the yellow part of the egg has extra cholesterol, and some people only want the egg white. So it's got this little lump on it because it fits right on top of your spoon like that, or your bowl, I'm sorry, so you would crack the egg and it would catch the yellow and then the white would fall over there. So it's a neat little item there. Tongs, last thing you saw me use this the other day. This is a straight spatula, and it's used to level off ingredients off the top or ice cakes. Okay, so that's the tool turnaround. All right, next we have these parts here. You can see we've got our drinking glasses if you get thirsty. We've got a serving platter for when it's time to serve items. How do I know where these things go? There's different labels for each. Here's your bowls. Plates, we don't use these a ton because we provide those paper plates. But if you needed those items, you can see that. And for some reason, these glasses are up here, but they actually go from here to there. All right, and everything's got that green dot. Then we've got these two cabinets. We have one with silverware, and the other is our cutting tools drawer. This is where we keep our knives, can opener, vegetable peeler, anything that would cut. All right, we've got the pizza, what you would call a pizza cutter, which is like a rolling knife. All right, so this is just our cutting tools drawer. Again, things are organized in a particular way. Then we have our pots and pans. Our skillets are on the bottom down here. They range from small to large depending on what you're wanting to cook. Again, they're nested, so if you were putting it back, you need to make sure you put it from large on the bottom to small on the top. All right, we've got our different sauce pans, and then we also have a double boiler that I'll put it back together for you, but this is really a neat item. If you were trying to melt chocolate or something that would get very gooey, you have to melt it slow. So a double boiler is where you would boil the water on the bottom part, and then the top part you would place the chocolate, and the steam from that melts it at a slow rate and gets it perfect. So that's a neat little tool there. And we've got our saucepans here, and we always keep a lid on the skillets. You'll see that we have that. So this is just a little tour of our kitchen. I believe I've covered everything except the chopper. This one's used a lot. If you ever use this item, you want to make sure to use it with a cutting board, okay? And basically, you remove this. You would chunk up an item. So let's say you were cutting an onion. You wouldn't stick it right over top of the onion. You would take the onion and obviously prep it, wash it, whatever you need to do. And then you would probably cut it into fours, and then you take a quarter of that and eat it. All right, when it's time to wash, it does come apart. It is sharp, so you need to be careful. Then let it dry like this so that it gets good and dry beforehand. All right, thanks for watching.